Hope you're enjoying the music right now on Gold FM. Only the classic hits, especially if you're spending your time at home or around the office. I certainly hope you're taking it easy and enjoying the music coming your way. Well, I got a whole lot more to keep you moving and to keep you going right up until you reach lock-off time. I'm Kara. Join me every weekday from 2 to 7 on The Ride, only on Gold FM.
जहाँ हो प्यार का बसेरा और रिश्तों की खुशबू, वो है आपका अपना घर संसार. Join me on घर संसार, Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. till 12 p.m. only on Radio Fiji 2.
On FBC News tonight, European Union defends its sugar trade reforms. Fiji benefiting from hosting international sugar talks. And Lami women clean up polluted river. Good evening, I'm Jackie Spate and you're watching FBC News. The European Union has decided to resume its assistance to Fiji under its 11th EDF program from next year. Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama has welcomed the move following a bilateral meeting with the European Commission's Marcus Cornaro in Sigatoka yesterday. The EU has since 2006 stopped funding the government and instead channeled the assistance through non-governmental organizations and international bodies into the country. The move is a major breakthrough in the relations between the EU and Fiji. Cornaro has confirmed that the European Union is committed to providing an additional $1.8 million to support next year's elections. In addition, the Prime Minister welcomed the announcement made by the European Union to allocate 30.6 million euros to Fiji under the 2013 Accompanying Measures Support Program for the sugar sector. Bainimarama has reiterated that the support will assist the successful implementation of the 5-year sugar industry strategic action plan to ensure commercial viability, competitiveness and sustainability of the industry in the long term.
With the Prime Minister, we discussed more generally the prospect of our cooperation in the run-up to the electoral process and hoping that with the full return to full democracy by September 2014, indeed we can also start reinvigorating our cooperation. And this was the thrust of our discussions. We've already looked ahead at some of the sectors we may be covering once we would be in a position, and again once in a position after the elections 2014, to fully resume our cooperation.
Meanwhile, the European Union has defended its trade reforms. The EU has been criticized by the African, Caribbean and Pacific countries, including Fiji, for its trade reforms which will significantly affect the sugar industry. At the ACP ministerial meeting on sugar, the sugar-producing nations have been assured of the importance to the EU market despite coming under fire.
The European Commission's Deputy Director General Development Cooperation, Marcus Cornaro, is in Fiji at a time when relations with the EU are at a crucial stage. Yesterday, he met with the Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama after he took a swipe at the EU.
I've had an opportunity to respond and I think to portray a slightly more nuanced picture. It is true that the Prime Minister was rather critical on the way the European Union is now modifying its trade regime.
Bainimarama slammed the grouping, saying the EU has politicized the Accompanying Measures Support Program, which has contributed close to $136 million into the sugar sector since 2006.
So I'll be visiting some of these programs and projects, and should you come along, let's see the witnesses together of those who have benefited from some of those programs. From what I read, this is indeed projects which reach out to the rural livelihoods and sugar-producing farmers. On the first point of the politicization, again, this is something more generally I've picked up in my bilateral discussion, that yes, should we, after the election, be in a position to fully normalize our relations.
Trade with the EU, where the majority of our sugar is exported, will become tougher. And Fiji tends to lose if the Economic Partnership Agreement, or EPA, continues to drag on.
Well, since they're meeting in Brussels now, let them meet and come up. So it would be wrong for me now in Fiji to comment on the process. But yes, they would not be meeting if both sides would not think such a meeting is useful and that progress could be made.
Konaro's arrival at the ACP conference on sugar marked the first high-level visit from the European Commission to Fiji in 7 years, signifying the importance of our bilateral relationship. Christopher Chand, FBC News.
Fiji has a larger role to play in the international community when it comes to the sugar industry, following the International Sugar Organization meeting held in Nadi in June, and now the ACP meeting on sugar. Fiji is on its way to a better future. Akosita Tale has more.
With the recent international meetings held on our foreshore, Fiji sure looks to be playing a leading role.
As a sugar-producing country, we are not alone in our quest to gain new markets. And it is quite difficult, particularly this time.
With the current preferential quota agreement expiring in 2017, Fiji, like all other ACP countries, will be affected. Hosting this ACP will help our country collectively plan for the next 4 years.
Looking at ways and means, for further negotiations, but from a very strong platform to see how best the arrangement can be made then, after 2017.
The meeting will provide Fiji an opportunity to provide the latest developments and assess the likely proposal before the end of the EU quotas.
And that strategic action plan has detailed our own attempt to not only to revive, to revitalize the total sugar industry right to the end market.
An announcement on the collective agreement and resolutions of the trade agreements is expected later tomorrow. Akosita Tale, FBC News.
The women of Lami outside Suva are spearheading a campaign aimed at convincing people residing in Gawia settlement to refrain from polluting the infamous Gawia River. The women from different religious denominations in the township showed their solidarity today against the indiscriminate throwing of rubbish into the river.
We show them what we can do.
A challenge to those who live along the banks of the Gawia River.
The flash flood was happened on September the 22nd. It was really terrible. It was a big plastic river that we see over here, the 22nd. So know where all the plastic come from.
These people, they just throwing their rubbish in the river. That's causing plenty problems during rainy days.
This is the Gawia River. And up ahead used to be a very popular picnic spot about 20 to 30 years ago, but it's littered with rubbish. And as you can see, the women's groups and also a nurse up there and also the men have joined them today to clean up the human mess.
I remember when we used to walk from Ballantyne down to Gawia to come and swim over here. But now...
Around 4,000 people live here, and it only took less than an hour for the women and the volunteers to collect this much of rubbish just within a 100-meter zone.
It shows the pressing need for us to clean up Lami today.
People do rubbish, put their rubbish really inside the river, which is not good, really.
A survey conducted by these young girls revealed that the majority of the people of Lami lack the knowledge of proper rubbish disposal.
The worst type of rubbish that found during the survey was plastic bags, plastic bottles, and mostly diapers.
Some of them did not know how to separate the rubbish. They have never learned of it.
For this kind of rubbish, it will expose us to leptospirosis, for dengue fever, all of the communicable diseases.
The Lami Town Council has offered to collect the garbage from Gawia settlement. However, it's awaiting word from the residents. What we have seen here today is enough to tell us that we must keep our environment clean, and that can only happen if we work together. Nikolonga, FBC News.
Coming up after the break, EU and Australia sign agreement to help Fijians in the sugarcane sector.
Nisambulo binaka oya wone kamanalangi oni nandorungo diao mai na diwa kina ruwe na bisinga mai na moniti kina bogarumbu na Radio Fiji wana ndome biti bongani bianyano nama katalenga na bengo na sasibiani na tin nakaloko na bembongi ni bukilulu kena be mama ni walu na bembongi ni bakarowai mai na mbuza ni balu ni ngai namaka.
आपकी शादी होने वाली है 5 बच्चे होंगे 5 हाय मैं हूँ आपकी सहेली वेनू सुनते रहिए मिर्च एफएम मैं हूँ ना 9 से 12 बजे तक
Welcome back. You're watching FBC News. A joint diplomatic initiative was signed by the European Commission and the Australian government today, which will improve employment opportunities for sugar industry dependents in Fiji. A total of €4 million will be given to the Australian government to facilitate programs by its Australia Pacific Technical College. Chanel Sivan with the details.
This delegated cooperation agreement by the European Union and the Australian government will run programs for Fijians. Under the agreement, those who were once employed in the sugar industry and do not have any form of employment can undertake studies at the Australian Pacific Technical College or APTC.
People who've been employed as farmers previously who aren't working now, or their dependents who are looking for career opportunities will be aimed at identifying, make sure that they can get back into the workforce. So a lot will depend on what sort of job opportunities there are. So that's part of the program.
The European Union Deputy Director General for Development Cooperation, Marcus Conaro, says they have given the funding to Australia for better use.
We from the European Union would channel funding available to us via the Australian Aid Administration, and this is support to rural livelihoods and families involved in the sugar industry. And the significance of the event is that it's rare, but a good sign for aid effectiveness.
Conaro says they will ensure that the program is run by the Australian government for the Fijian people. The program is expected to begin by the end of the year. Chanel Shivan, FBC News.
The young woman who will take the crown of Miss World Fiji 2014 will be groomed by the Miss Brazil organization next year. This comes after the Miss World Fiji team managed to strike a deal with the organization in Indonesia last month. Ritika Pratap reports.
Preparations for the 2014 Miss World pageant in London are in progress, with exciting relationships formed between Miss World Fiji and the Miss Brazil organization. The team of professional beauty experts that work alongside the organization and help groom their national winner for Miss World will also be grooming Miss World Fiji 2014.
They look after her in terms of her wardrobe, in terms of her hygiene, her hair, her beauty, makeup, the overall package. So when she's at Miss World, she's fully groomed and polished. So this is the same team that have agreed to come on board and assist Miss Fiji in her preparations for London.
Blake says the team behind the Miss Brazil organization have groomed their national winners since 2006, continuously placing them in the finals at Miss World pageant.
Becomes Miss Fiji next year. We'll be flying to Rio de Janeiro, where the team is based, and they will groom her for a month before she heads off to London and compete at the Miss World pageant.
The team also aims to help Miss World Fiji get the Miss World Oceania title.
The title has been held by Miss Australia for the last 2 years. So next year they will work on getting Miss Fiji that title, which will enable her to travel the Oceania region, including Asia, and working on Beauty with a Purpose project.
The team of experts from Brazil will also help in choosing the girls in next year's Miss World Fiji contest, which begins next February, with castings to select the top 10 before the finals in July. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
Save the Children Fiji has a new CEO in Racheli Nicole. She takes up the reins from former CEO Chandra Shekhar. She aims to continue with the SCF's mission of promoting and upholding children's rights and lasting improvements to their lives.
The newly appointed CEO believes that the main goal of this non-government organization is children's participation.
Having access to the organization, they participate in terms of how we run as an organization, because at the end of the day, we Save the Children Fiji is about the children, and so their participation is key in terms of how we are.
Over the last 2 years, SC Fiji has been working with 52 childhood centers in the country.
Those early childhood centers, they were set up to ensure that the children in informal communities, in rural communities, ensure that the children are ready for primary school, that they go to school with their literacy and numeracy skills, that they already have a step up.
Save the Children's Suva has organized a race for survival for the children on the 23rd of this month with the theme Grow Healthy Food, Nurture Healthy Children.
One of the biggest pushes that we have as an NGO is for the children to participate in our events, and so we feel this will be a good event that the children can run.
Nicole is confident that the organization will definitely achieve their goals within the next 3 years. Neelam Raj, FBC News.
Global Hand Washing Day was celebrated today in about 16 schools around the country. Global Hand Washing Day Committee Chair Dr. Anasila Tolu says the aim of the celebrations is to raise awareness on preventable diseases. They want people to be aware that washing of hands can help save lives. According to the World Health Organization, an estimated 2/3 of deaths in children are caused by diarrhea worldwide. Vashist Muni Primary School in Navua was the center for celebrations in the Central Division. Sports time now. Hi Jamie, what do you have for us?
Good evening, Jackie. Tonight in sports, the Fiji 7 side back at home but ready to take on the next leg of the 7 series. Also up ahead, more good news for FBCTV viewers as FBC signs on as broadcaster for the Bailey's Coral Coast Sevens. Details after the break.
I wake up in the morning, I prefer to go down to the gym, get a bit of physical work done. Also, later on in the day, I decide to go through for meditation. I do a bit of reading to find out what the latest songs are, a bit of research. And for me, it's all about the listeners.
Hey, what's up? I'm Rio, and this is the Traffic Jam every weekday from 3 o'clock to 7, only on Today FM. Today's hit music. What's up?
सूरज की पहली किरण के साथ दिन की शुरुआत कीजिए। सुबह का मंगल प्रभात आपको शुभ हो। सुबह सुबह हो खुशियों का मेला, ना लोगों की परवाह ना दुनिया का झमेला। पंछियों का संगीत हो और मौसम अलबेला। मुबारक हो आपको ये खूबसूरत सवेरा। हर सोमवार से लेकर शुक्रवार तक सुबह 6 से लेकर 9 बजे तक शामिल रहें रेडियो फिजी 2 पर हम सफर में रविंद्र सिंह के साथ।
Welcome back to FBC Sports. The Digicel Fiji 7's team is back home, but without head coach Ben Ryan. Ryan is expected to return to Fiji in a week's time before everyone gears up again for a hectic month of preparations for the Dubai tournament. As Elena McDonald reports, the Gold Coast Sevens plate win is being considered a nifty consolation, considering the team had only a week to train together.
There seems to be a refreshed attitude within the Fiji Sevens team. And the good news is, because of this, we can expect bigger and better performances.
I just joined the team on Monday. I was in camp and nothing good too. I think he just joined the team because of injury and the lack of time we had. I think we did really well. After losing out of the quarterfinal, Ben told us that we're playing for the series and not the tournament, and we really needed the points in order to get our goal in winning the series. So
players are beginning to understand the game better, and it's showing by their willingness to move forward.
Against Wales, we had that match, but we didn't capitalize on the mistakes Wales made, and we had some opportunity to score tries, and we didn't use it in sevens. As we know it, when the opportunity comes your way, you gotta use it.
Positive vibes are in the air, however, not so much for one injured rep.
Fortunately, Manu won't be available because according to the scan that we had in the hospital in Brisbane, he said that he'll probably out for a couple of months.
Fiji's performance in Australia proves that hard work pays off. There seems to be some light at the end of the tunnel for Fiji Sevens, and here's hoping it gets that much brighter as the series unfolds. Elena McDonald, FBC Sports.
A true blessing for the average viewer. That's how sports fanatics in Fiji are describing FBCTV's latest ambition to broadcast English Premier League games live over the next 8 months. Some eager fans have even come up to our very doorstep just to congratulate those who have made the initiative to bring the best in football to your homes. Elena McDonald reports.
The English Premier League is no doubt the latest buzz for sporting fans in Fiji. As hype builds towards the games this weekend, fans from various demographics are already gearing up to cheer on their team with the hope that others will jump on the bandwagon to enjoy the best in football.
Especially the Fijian, they're out there, the high-level rugby team, the kids, they will try and turn to soccer instead of rugby. They will learn more from these professional games of EPL.
Come Saturday, the EPL will practically be shown in every home across the nation, and it's something many simply feel lucky enough to have.
Since I'm from Soccer Crazy Town Bar, and it's a privilege for everybody in Fiji. Through FBCTV, we're getting EPL live, and this is first time in Fiji.
It's Liverpool versus Newcastle on Saturday night, then Manchester United against Southampton early Sunday morning. Get your gear on and get your game face on, because EPL action will be here sooner than you think. Elena McDonald, FBC Sports.
3 weeks remain before the Vodafone Fiji Mbati side open their Rugby League World Cup account against Ireland in Rochdale, England. And to help them acclimatise to the cold Northern Hemisphere conditions, they've lined up a match against a local club, the Rochdale Hornets. With a huge Fijian population in the area and the history shared, this warm-up match will be memorable in more ways than one. Elena McDonald with the details.
Playing a warm-up game against the Rochdale Hornets is a particularly interesting encounter. Fiji's ties to the club dates back to the 1960s, where former union reps Orisi Ndawai and Joe Levula played for the club. This year, though, it'll be home to our Fiji Bati, who have a fair idea of what winning against Ireland will mean.
That's exactly right, that we do want to win that game, that it's a big game for us, that if we can win that, that'll put us in good stead for the rest of the tournament, I think. That, yeah, hopefully just get off to a good start and then rattle some Irish cages.
Bukuya's ecstatic about the Fiji Bati outfit churned out this year.
A very good team. We've got a very strong team, very strong back line, and the amount of talent we got this year is just awesome, mate.
Tickets are selling fast for Fiji's match against Ireland, and if all goes well for our Bati in the first clash, we can be sure to see sparks fly when they take on group opponents Australia and England. Elena McDonald, FBC Sports.
The Bailey's Fiji Coral Coast Sevens has been further boosted with the announcement today that FBCTV will air coverage of the tournament. The tournament, which is scheduled to be held on the 14th to the 16th of next month, has attracted several top local and overseas teams. The coverage of the tournament is expected to bring a range of benefits not only to the Sevens arena but also to the nation.
Also good for tourism, because Singatoka is a very, very beautiful and special part of Fiji. The weather's great, the people are even greater, and you know, we're just glad that we're doing our bit for the promotion of sports in the country, especially something like the Sevens, because FBC has got the widest coverage in Fiji for any free-to-air service.
The Bailey's Fiji Coral Coast Sevens is now renowned as the premier Sevens tournament in Fiji and also the champion of champions for the Pacific. And by that we mean we have partner tournaments in Australia, New Zealand and the United States and other places which we're working on. And they all send their champion team down. So they take on the best of the best from Fiji.
And former England Sevens skipper Ben Gollings is expected to be chief guest at the event. The Fiji Bitter Chess Open will be held this weekend in Suva, and the ever-growing interest in the sport is expected to draw a large turnout. With the federation run on a merit system, the competition will see participants from beginner to master all vie for placings in their respective categories. Salendao Dakadaka has more.
The Fiji Chess Federation has seen a steady growth in the number of young players over the past 2 years, and they expect to see more when competition begins.
But especially girls who are taking up the sport, they are very interested in that. They are also coming to our Sunday chess clinics, which is at the Fiji Club. So yeah, we'll be expecting a huge turnout of school kids on Sunday.
The federation has a merit-based system which the rookies follow and build their way up to the elite division.
The newcomers are playing in the beginners category, and of course based on their performance, if they win that category, then they're promoted to the next intermediate category and then the elite category, which most of our veteran players are part of.
Prasad will also be competing alongside other elite players such as Goru Arvind and Ronald Terubia and defending champion Manoj Kumar. The competition will be held at Tapu City Conference Room on Sunday. Chalendo Dakadak, FBC Sports.
That's it from Sports Tonight. Good evening.
Complaints against the online boutique Pink Window Creations have been forwarded to regulatory authorities. 158 complaints against the Fiji-based company have been received by the Consumer Council of Fiji with a monetary value of more than $57,000. The council says despite several attempts to negotiate with Pink Window Creations to refund the money, all they got was empty promises. The company has posted a mobile number on its Facebook account and is asking customers to text their receipt numbers. However, consumers have not received any response. The company sells costume jewelry and traditional Indian outfits. The matter has now been forwarded to the Reserve Bank of Fiji, Immigration Department, and the Fiji Revenue and Customs Authority.
There is a level of frustration that we are texting this information and yet the refunds are not being made. So this is, I feel it's just empty promises. I also feel it's a ploy to drag on.
The company has also not responded to any queries from FBC News.
So Jackie, you seem a bit hot and bothered. Is it the heat or that leak story?
I have no idea what you're talking about, Jen.
I'm sure. And Jackie wasn't the only one feeling the heat today. As you can see on our trusty map, we all enjoyed fantastic sunny weather. Aside, of course, from the north here, who had a few showers in the afternoon. So how hot was it today? Let's take a look. Nandi, Lautoka and Lambasa are on 31. Warm, yes. The warmest? That was Ba on 32 degrees. Savasava was the only one in the 20s, a not so cold 28. More showers tomorrow for VT. There'll be rainy periods throughout the day in Suva and the north, while the western side are set to receive some sun in the morning, right over here, succumbing later to cloudy conditions. Time to say goodbye, but before I do, here's a great aerial shot of our very own World Heritage Site. Yes, that's Levuka. Thank you, Inoki Tokalau, for putting the old capital in the spotlight this evening. A truly refreshing photo indeed.
Thanks so much for that, Genevieve. Recapping the headlines, European Union defends its sugar trade reforms. Fiji benefiting from hosting international sugar talks, and Lami women clean up polluted river. On to our poll question, and we're asking, should the selection of the Digicel Fiji Sevens team be totally controlled by Ben Ryan? Visit www.fbc.com.fj to take part. Remember, you can also send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj. That's FBC News tonight. See you again tomorrow.
Isambul binaka. Nedango wadi soni dalai. Nama kyo mani wasini ngono borota kina lali ne kabi. Maina tolu kina bitu. Ena moni digina porombuka. Ena mbula FM. Na bandu ena serre.
Now that's just another groove to kickstart your morning.
That's right. Good morning, Fiji. It's Gold FM bringing you the classic hits to fine-tune your morning.
And Fila still trying to fine-tune her voice.
And as always, Pedali still trying to wake up.
Now this is where you'll find us every morning from Monday to Friday.
On Daybreak with Pedali and Fina from 6 to 9. Join us.